Welcome to Cat's Journey. I'm Kelly Kathleen, Cat's Journey. And this is my journey, my vlog about my different things that I've done for weight loss and how my journey with Zepbound is going. So last time I vlogged, I talked about seeing a doctor in Iowa City about my PCOS, and that was her primary focus. And she had put me on metformin, and we went on more of a I went on more of an Atkins type diet, and I could lose weight again down to my set point of 180 pounds, but I couldn't lose any more than that. So yeah, this is continuing on from there. So that doctor, I think I mentioned last time too, she ended up leaving Iowa City and went to Ohio to do her research there. And so I was primarily going to Iowa City for her. So I went a few times and I would see a few of the different fellows, but I didn't get the care and the explanation that she gave me. They just gave me the prescription for metformin and set me on my way type of thing. So I decided to come back to my hometown and find a doctor where I live. And so I did find a doctor, and one that was recommended, and he was a more of a holistic doctor. He had his medical license and everything, but he tried to practice more holistically, which I thought sounded great, right? That makes more sense to me. So I started going to him, and I told him, what I had been doing and about the doctor in Iowa City, and he decided to keep me on the metformin. And then he also did a few tests to check my thyroid. Now, my thyroid had always been a little low, but not low enough to give medication. Oh, do you want to come up here? Come here. Oh, P. My little sweet P wants to come see me. Oh, my little sweet P. Mwah. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, sweetie. So Sydney, I love you too, but you are too big to sit on my lap. Yes, I have two dogs. No, lay down. Lay down, good boy. Good boy lays down. He's such a good boy. Down, down, down. Good dog. No barking. So where was I at? Sorry. So he decided to try and see how my thyroid was. He thought it might be a thyroid issue. So instead of doing just the blood work test for thyroid, he had me do a base temperature reading every morning. So before I got out of bed, I had to take my temperature under my armpit. And I was actually reading probably 2 to 3 degrees lower than the average in the morning. And he said that was also a sign of thyroid issues. So then he put me on a thyroid medication at that time. So I was taking the thyroid and the metformin, but I still couldn't lose past 180. I didn't feel like I had any more energy. I didn't. He also checked my vitamin D, and my vitamin D has a tendency to stay around 33, which is kind of right at the low end. I mean, even when I'm out gardening in the sun and everything, my vitamin D was at 33. So that wasn't it. But so he wanted me to take some D. So I took D as well. But again, did I feel a whole lot more energy? No, not necessarily. And I just attribute that to PCOS. I think PCOS has a lot of complications that we try to manage, but you just do the best you can some days. And not that I haven't had a full life and everything, but I just know that I was tired. I think a lot of women are tired. We do so much. We are such full active people. But yeah, we're still working out, gardening, working out at home. and gardening and doing all the things. And then he recommended HCG. So HCG, I'm going to have to read what it is because it's been so long ago. But they were shots, like Zepbound. They were shots. However, they were compounded, and my shots, Zepbound shots, are not the compounded kind. But it is called, if I don't slaughter it, human chorionic gonadotropin is what HCG stands for. And it's a hormone made in the body during pregnancy. And the lab compounds it or makes it. And it's added for weight loss. And this was an injection into the belly. So I started doing those shots. Now, this is not something that you can be on for a long period of time because you do it in correlation or with a low-calorie diet. So I had to go from, normal 1,500 to 2,000 calorie day diet to 500 to 800, which is extremely low. So yeah, I lost weight and I did get down to about 167 for about a half a second. So the hard thing about it is you can't be on a long time. So let's see. These diets come with a risk. Low calorie diets will help you lose weight, but they harden buildups of digestive fluid called gallstones that can form in the gallbladder. They can give you an irregular heartbeat. There are lack of vitamins and minerals. So I did take vitamins and minerals at the time too. And the levels of minerals called electrolytes that become too high or low. The HCG diet loss products are linked with marking some cancers worse, including prostate cancer. The HCG in these products may prompt the body to make hormones called androgens. These hormones help prostate cancer cells grow. So some of the side effects of the HCG diet: depression, extreme tiredness, also called fatigue, which I already had going into it, swelling called edema that is caused by too much fluid trapped in the body's tissues, enlarged breasts in men, they also called gynecomastia, headaches, which I already suffered from migraines, and trouble getting rest. So yeah, rare side effects include blood clots, testicle tumors, and sacs called cysts in an ovary or on its surface, which I already have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So yeah, so I stayed on it for, I don't even know how long I stayed on it. I was trying to rack my brain around it. I don't know how long I did it. A few months. I know a few months. So to stay at that low calorie deficit, which in my mind's got to kill your metabolism as well. But I did it through a doctor, and he kept track of my my blood work and everything like that. And I did get down, but then I had to go off of it, and I gained all the weight back and then some. That's the problem. And then some. Every time you try something crazy, and I'm going to consider HCG crazy, seems like the weight comes back on and then more weight comes on. I mean, it's just because you've slowed your metabolism down, you've deprived yourself for so long, and it's just kind of one of those things that you're like, okay, now I go crazy. That's the lovely thing about Zepbound. I am still eating normal. I'm eating more clean, but I still eat normal. Like last night, we, let's see, what did I have yesterday? Cottage cheese and blueberries and, what was the other thing? And Greek yogurt. I kind of mixed those together in the morning, and a little bit of Cool Whip because it gives it a little bit of sweetness. It's really nice. So that's usually my breakfast, or I'll have a Premier Protein with some chai in it, and those will be my breakfasts. But it's a late breakfast, so it's like 10, 11. So it's a late breakfast. And then last night we went out for a smash burger. We have a local place that they have Monday night specials for smash burgers. $5 for a smash burger and fries. So for $2 more, I added a side salad. So I had a side salad, a smash burger, and fries. I ate probably 4 fries, and they're fried in beef tallows, which I think makes it more delicious and a little healthier, I think. So they're fried in beef tallow, but I only had 4 of those, so it doesn't matter how healthy or unhealthy they were. I had 4. I ate my salad, and it had cucumbers and a little cheese and lettuce and tomatoes and onions. It was a nice little side salad. And then I ate my burger, and I put ketchup on it. I like ketchup. And it had cheese on it. Very thin sliced cheese, just a nice little, not too gloppy or anything. And I ate the burger, which was about a 3-ounce burger. And I ate a third of the bun. Yeah, because I like a little bread. But I can't eat the whole thing of bread. Yeah. Because earlier during the day, for my lunch, kind of after my yogurt, right before I went to work, I had 1 piece of toast with some peanut butter and some homemade jam that I made. I had made some homemade jams, and so I know what's in it and what sugars are in it, and I canned them. And so, and I had that. That was my kind of my lunch before work, because I go and I work on patients, and I don't want to be shaky, and I don't want to, my stomach to be hurting or anything, because sometimes if I don't eat, my stomach can kind of gnaw, especially now that there's not a lot in it, that I need to have a little something in my stomach so I don't get that kind of nausea feeling. That's what I have found with Zepbound is I cannot prolong my eating as much, because my stomach will start to hurt. So, but yeah, so HCG, that's what I did for a hot minute. And that was the only thing that I'd gotten underneath that 180-pound set point. And I tell you what, though, I was down low in calories. I had to go very low. And, yeah, but it came back right away. But I really noticed a difference in my clothes, my body. I mean, that's when people really started to notice. I had lost weight when I was about 167. I got a lot of compliments. And I had another friend doing it at the same time. And we would go to the Planet. We were going to the Planet then too. And she's about 10 years younger than me. And she would just run her heart out. And I would run and walk, but I couldn't keep up with her if I tried. And so she had done it too. And she lost weight too. But she gained it back as well. And she's taller than me, and was not as heavy as me, but yeah, she gained it back as well. And so, and she didn't have the PCOS or anything like that. And we were actually doing it from different doctors. And she was at a weight loss clinic, and I was at a medical doctor. And so we both ended up on it. And yeah, so it was funny running into her at the gym, and then we would run into each other a little more. And yeah, both were doing it. But yeah, we both had success on it. We just didn't have permanent success on it. So I want to go over how the last week was for me on Zepbound. So I have now, last week I have now gone through 4 boxes. So that's 16 pens. So that puts me at the weigh-in and everything for my 14th week was last week. And then the weigh-in this week will be for my 15th week. So for my 14th week, I gained a pound, almost a pound and a half. Why did I gain a pound and a half? So my shots are on Monday, but I don't weigh in on Monday. I weigh in on Thursdays because I feel like I want it far enough away from the weekend, beginning next weekend, because this is football season. I have a gnat. This is football season, and so I always make football food for my husband, and so we snack a little bit more. So I feel like my worst eating day really is Sunday, when we're snacking on football foods and stuff. Now, I don't snack that much, but still, I eat a little bit more high fatty, high carby, those kind of foods on the weekend. And if I'm going to have any kind of cocktail or a drink or a glass of wine, it will probably be on the weekend if I even decide. I've only had 2 glasses of wine since I started Zepbound. I've had a drink of my husband's drink and things like that somewhere, but I have not gotten really anything on my own. But so I'd like to weigh on Thursday. Psychologically, I think it's my lightest weight day. So that's the day I weigh. So I take my shot on Monday of last week. And then Tuesday is our gym day. This is Tuesday. We're not going to the gym, but you'll find out why. So Tuesday is gym day. So I went and I had a really good leg workout. And my husband and I were just like a little snippy at each other. And so I just kind of waved goodbye because we drove separately and I drove home. And so I go to take a bath and all that kind of stuff. And I get a call and it's like, honey, don't panic. I've just been T-boned in an accident. I'm okay. The other guy's okay, but I need you to come get me. It's like, what? So I jump out and I get ready and throw on clothes and I get there. The police are already gone. Now he called me like immediately. The police are already gone. The other guy is already gone. His car is already towed away because his car is totaled. And they're putting my husband's Jeep on a tower, and so he's getting stuff out of it so that he can put it in my car. And his whole frame is sideways, like 3 inches. There's springs underneath the Jeep. He hit him on the front axle and the door. The other guy's car, I saw a picture of it. It's crunched up like this. The airbags deployed for him. My husband, they didn't because he got hit from the side. But his car is totaled. The frame is all bent and everything. And the guy was driving a little car. And the Jeep wasn't really big lifted Jeep, but it had good tires on it and big tires and everything. And it totaled that Jeep. That guy was flying through a red light is what it was. So my husband's light had turned green. And my husband was here. There was a car beside him, and the light turned green. They're starting to go. This car turns this way. My husband continues to go through the light, and he looked over, and the guy was just flying. He thinks, well, this is what he told me. That guy's not stopping. And he did. He hit him. Boom. Right dead center in the middle. T-boned him. So yeah, that was my Tuesday, and we went to the hospital. He was like, just pick me up. I want to come home and shower. And then I said, well, you're going to the hospital for x-rays. And he's like, yeah. And my husband doesn't go to the hospital for anything if he can help it. So he took a shower, took him to the hospital. He had a CT scan. Fortunately, nothing was broken. They said a lot of muscle tissue, soreness and stretching, so he's going to be sore. He had a headache almost immediately. My husband never gets headaches. I get headaches. He never gets headaches. And he never understood my headaches because he never got one. So he didn't realize how bad it was. Oh yeah, he had a headache, muscle soreness. So I didn't want him to go to the chiropractor or anywhere else before he got x-rays. So he had already had a scheduled massage coming up, and I said, well, let's make sure that you can do that massage because I don't want you to have a broken bone and get a massage and more damage. So no breaks. So now he's on a series of massages. He's going to try doing massages for the muscles as opposed to chiropractor at this point because it seems to be so much of the muscle tissue. So yeah, we're not working out today on a Tuesday. We didn't work out Thursday because obviously that. But the moral of this story is, that stress thing. That's why I gained 1.5 pounds. I wasn't eating anymore. I can tell you that. I didn't eat anymore, but I gained 1.5 pounds. And I really do. I think it was stress. And I felt gross, and my stomach was all in knots. And so if you have a lot of stress in your life, that might be one of the things that's kind of preventing you from losing weight. And maybe not the high stress of, I know a lot of people say if they have really bad stress, I mean like long-term stress, they can lose weight because it's such at a high level and they lose weight. Well, that was never me. But I think sometimes when you just have moderate stress, you just have an inflammatory response in your body. At least I feel like I do. But yeah, my stomach hurt. I couldn't eat. I feel like since we were kind of sniping at each other that day, I feel like, oh my gosh, what if that was the last time I ever had an interaction with my husband? Was that we were like, you know, and we've been married, I don't know, I think 37 years, 38 years, 1988. So yeah, we've been married a long time. And so you do snipe a little bit, but we know it's just like we're grumpy or we're tired. But I just got away and went, and I didn't get to have like a connection with him. If he would have died, that was what was going through my mind. It's like, oh my gosh, what if that was the last connection I'd had with my husband and we were a little snipey at each other. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so, but yeah, so yeah, I gained 1.5 pounds last week. Woohoo. Yep. Now, today is Tuesday, and when I got out of the shower, I was like, I'm just going to weigh. My weigh-in isn't really until Thursday, but I'm just going to weigh. And I was back down. So, but yeah, I was so depressed last week. I'm like, here, this happened to my husband, and I can't eat, and my stomach hurts, and I gained 1.5 pounds, and yeah. So I needed to take a deep breath. My husband's alive. He's doing well. He just has some muscle soreness. So we're heat and ice. He can take Tylenol. He's not pregnant, but he can take Tylenol. And that is not a reflection on anything going on in the world other than I think it's funny that these people with the Tylenol. Pregnant women shouldn't take Tylenol. Pregnant women shouldn't eat red dye. Pregnant women shouldn't take anything unless the consequences are outweighed by taking the Tylenol. It's like whatever the consequence is worse. Like if you can take like an aspirin if you have heart issues. So if the consequences, like your heart is worse than why you're taking it, why you're not taking it, then take it. I don't know if I said that right, but you know what I mean. It's like, yeah, if you have to take a medicine while you're pregnant, you take the medicine. But if it's something that you don't have to take, don't take it. You know, it's always better not to take a medicine like HCG if you don't have to take it. And now, I took the risk and reward. That's what it is, risk and reward. So the risk, I was willing to take the risks for the HCG for the reward of losing weight. Now, will there be long-term consequences for it? I don't know. Is there going to be long-term consequences for taking Zepbound? I don't know. I don't think so. And that's kind of what I'm going with. All the science right now is not pointing to it. So I think you have to look at the side effects of the drugs and you decide in your logical brain, after you've done your research, am I willing to take this for the reward? Even though, looking at the side effects, I knew going into this, gastric disorders. Okay, am I willing to do it even though I know I will probably have some gastric disorders? Yes, I was willing. Check. So yeah, so research. I'm not a doctor. Anybody on YouTube who is not a doctor, and if they are a doctor, they're not your doctor. They don't know your signs and symptoms, your health history, you know. So yeah, so, and even if you go through a third party company, they do have doctors that you talk to. I know, I've seen some videos. I know to a degree, but if they don't, steer away from that person. Go to one that has doctors, legitimate doctors. They go through your health history. They go through, you know, complications with you and side effects, and so you know that you are informed. And you just want to be informed with this stuff. I'm willing to take the risk because my doctor and I talked about it. We talked about my PCOS, and I am an informed participator in the Zepbound. I was an informed participator in the HCG. Actually, to a degree, informed, because I don't think I knew all the different side effects. But if that has taught me anything, it is to watch these videos of other people. I watch a lot of videos from other people who are on GLP-1s and see their side effects and what they're going through, knowing that I may not go through some of those things, but I'm still informed about it. I do research. I've looked it up. I've looked up stuff from Eli Lilly. I've looked at other different doctors. So yeah, it's great to be informed. And so my next program I'm going to talk about is going to be the one I did right before starting Zepbound. And to tell you, I did the research on this one before I started it. I did the research. And I really liked the research, and I really liked the diet. And it's not a diet, it's a life plan. I shouldn't call it a diet, it's a life plan, but I really liked it. I just started gaining weight after 2 years. And I couldn't get under 200 pounds on this one, but I lost 40 pounds because I started at like 242, 246. So I didn't lose quite 40 pounds, but it was close. Yeah, so yeah. So this week, or last week, I was at 204.5 or 6, somewhere around there. I have my phone, but I'm not going to look it up. But that's where I was at. And I had gotten down to 203 the week previous to that. So, yeah, it was sad. But I also knew I was stressed. So, is stress the reason that we're having a bad week? Something to think about. So what can we do to mitigate the stress? Do some yoga, some deep breathing, all the good things. I'm starting to do facial massages I got a little, I think it's gua sha stone, and so I'm starting to massage my face, trying to make sure I don't get all these, like, you know, as I lose weight in my face, I don't get all the wrinkles. I'm 62, I don't have wrinkles, but I'm trying to see if that'll work. Something simple I can do for myself. It wasn't very expensive, and I can do it while I'm in my tub and just massage. I have some castor oil lotion or oil that I'll kind of put on there, and then I'll clean my face really good. And yeah, so I'm trying that for myself. That does kind of, I have to say, it feels good on my forehead when I have a headache. Right now I kind of have a sinus thing. The weather's starting to change, and that's kind of the hardest thing for me. That's when I start getting headaches. But yeah, even just like massaging it like right in here, oh, that feels so good. So yeah, I hope you have a great week. Manage your stress. I'll try and manage my stress. And yeah, have a good one. Good luck on your journey. Bye.